Hey, welcome in. This is 2822 Sports Night, and we are live out on the road. Well, I guess not live if you're watching this at 8 o'clock,
Yes.
but, I mean, if you're watching on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, it's live to you. We're here getting ready for the first day of football practice. I'm joined, as always, by Ricky Turner, and we are joined in his last week here, Nate Johns. Nate, a little melancholy?
Little bit. Final three episodes.
Okay, grab my mic.
You know, final week. Excited to get things rolling here for the final week of the year, and football's back, so can't be sad about that.
No, not at all. And, of course, you mentioned the final weeks of the year, your final weeks here. What a better way to spend it than out on here on the football field. As we are in Southern Columbia, we are at Tiger Stadium. We are getting ready as the first day of practice. Well, already happened. They had a morning practice, 9 a.m., but we're getting ready for the second practice here. Ricky, you excited for some football?
Oh, absolutely. This is the heart of NEPA, and what better way to spend it than one of the more dominant programs. 15 state titles, 23 state title appearances. What better place to be than really at the king of NEPA football?
Yeah, I'm looking 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, a little skip in 24, unfortunately, and then the defending 2A champions, the number one team in the state, Southern Columbia. We are here, like I mentioned, at Tiger Stadium, and we're going to have several of the Tigers on, including head coach, Coach Roth, later on in this episode as we get going, and of course, they're going to get practice going in just a little bit as well, as we're here on 2822 Sports Night. Make sure, as always, you're watching, whether it be on Amazon, Apple, or Roku. We mentioned as well the Facebook Live, the Instagram Live. Ricky not checking his phone because he's got a message. We're out on the field, so we got to make sure that we're getting our breaks in. We got to make sure we're on time. So no fines for Ricky tonight if his phone goes off at all. But, yeah, we mentioned first day of practice here. We're going to get a chance to Coach Roth, get a chance to talk to some of the players as well. Who are you looking forward to getting out here and seeing practice today?
Yeah, it's always tough when you're going through a team that won a state championship, but for me it's going to be Grady Garcia. There's a big question about who's taking over for the Tigers running back. Garcia figures to be the next in line at that position, the junior coming back. A lot of skill position players are going to be interesting to watch as well, as that's most of the returning production, but Grady Garcia should be next up at running back.
Ricky?
Give me the quarterback, Aiden Hockenbrock, the senior returning 17 TDs last year. I know they're going to run the football, but the QB is what really drives the offense, and Hockenbrock did a fine job last year, and he's looking to really get back to that state title game in his senior year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you see 20, 23, 24, 25. Well, no, 24. Sorry, apologies. But 23, 25, obviously when you can go 3 for 4 as a senior, you want to leave on that high note. So understandable. We're going to get a chance to talk to both of them, obviously, as well today. Tigers, what do they need to do this year to be successful again and be dominant as they finished up 15-1 last year?
I think for me it's as Nate said, it starts with the run game. Grady Garcia, he has a great family lineage, and he's going to continue that not only this year but next year with him only being a junior. But they've got to run the ball. They've got to control the line of scrimmage, and that is going to be an area where I think it's going to be most interesting. A couple graduates up front. It's really going to be interesting to see how they replace it. Obviously, again, Jim Roth and the staff does a fantastic job at that, but winning the line of scrimmage and running the football like they do typically leads to success.
Yeah, it's not so much rebuilding as it is reloading every year. Defensively, though, I know we've talked a lot of offense here. Defensively, who are you looking forward to seeing out there today?
It's going to be a lot of the same guys because Southern Columbia, just the way they build their roster is how a lot of high schools do, where it's a lot of two-way talent. So you're going to see a lot of the same names on offense and defense. I'm interested to see who steps up along the defensive line. A lot of graduation hits to that defensive line. So not necessarily anyone in particular, but seeing who steps up out of that group for me is going to be the thing to watch, especially as camp gets underway.
Yeah, and I've got a little breeze going here, which is nice, a little bit of cloud cover. It's been a hot one. How do you think they're dealing with the heat here this first day of camp?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, again, a lot of hydration breaks. And, again, I think that's why we've seen a lot of the split to some of the practice in the morning, practice in the afternoon. You don't want – it's not your typical 2-a-days that, some of the, the old-timers are used to. But, again –
You call me old?
You said you've had to go out and practice at midnight and get some –
No, I covered practices at midnight. But I will admit that, I mean, I came up in the era where water was for weakness. We didn't necessarily – have scheduled breaks. It was, and the other thing was we drank out of a hose in the trough. It was a sawhorse with a piece of PVC that had a bunch of holes drilled into it, and then they run the garden hose, so it just like shot up and you'd real quick and then be out of the way. So it's certainly not the same here with everyone having their own personal water bottles and athletic trainers spraying it in their face on halftime there and in between timeouts.
Yeah, certainly not that, but yes, hydration and again keeping these players fresh, keeping these players healthy is an important part, and especially again with Southern Columbia's Week 1 matchup against WYOU missing, you don't want to be missing any of your star players or having them exhausted going into that first week against such a powerhouse program in District 3.
Well, 15-1 last year, WYOU missing the one blemish on the record. What do they got to do this year to kind of right that wrong, especially as they face them Week 1?
Well, it's going to be about how the defense hits the ground running, because we've talked about Southern Columbia's defensive strengths. WYOU missing last year put up 35 points on the road in the season opener. So it's going to be about the defense getting into a groove early and settling in. They typically find their footing after that non-conference game, but they're going to need to find it in Week 1 and have the defense ready to go against a very potent WYOU missing attack.
What type of test do you think that is? You think it's something that's going to help set the tone for the season, or is it one of those things that they're going to see more this is practicing for the playoffs necessarily and getting ready to see how they stand up against the rest of the state?
I mean, it's always dangerous to go in with that mindset, and I know that Jim Roth is not going to be looking at it that way, but that's probably how it should be. Use these non-conference games. They have WYOU missing Week 2. They go to Williams Valley. They're testing themselves against some of the most potent offenses that they could find on the small school levels in the state of Pennsylvania. So it's really about testing yourself for those matches, because this is a team that has state championship aspirations. I mean, we could see the 6 straight state championships they had in 2A behind us, or to our right, I should say. But it's about getting ready for those types of games and testing yourselves against offenses like that throughout the year, and even a late season matchup against Jersey Shore.
As you look through the schedule, who do you think is the conference matchup they need to be paying most attention to?
Troy is always a fun one. Troy is actually the team that beat them in the district final in 2024. They went on to win that state title. Troy always gives them tough matchup. And I'm sure that matchup in 2024 where they lost in the district final, they seem to take out some of that anger in the district final this past year. But Troy is usually the opponent that gives them the most trouble, and I'd assume that would be the same thing this year.
As we get ready here for practice in just a little bit, the Tigers making their way onto the field for pre-practice, and we're going to get a bunch of the Tigers to join us today as well, including Coach Roth, who will be over in a little bit. What are your expectations this year for Southern?
High expectations. I mean, this team returns a lot of skill position players, and as you mentioned, they don't restart. They keep retooling this roster every single year. That's why they have 15 state titles. That's why they have the success that they do. The expectations are still sky high, and as Mike Tomlin once said, the standard is the standard.
Mike Tomlin?
Yes.
Does that sting a little?
No, it's former head coach, good guy. He did a great job on the preseason game.
Did you watched?
I watched some of it. I watched some of this preseason. I watched him. I wanted to see how he would do, but again, he did a pretty good job.
I mean, I was a little taken back about the fact that he discussed how the standard is the standard, and they haven't been living up to the standard over the last few years. And it's like, they? You mean you? Weren't you part of that?
He's not part of
the
team anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but I understand that. But when he says, the expectations last year weren't lived up to, they didn't do the job. Yeah, we know. That's why you're commentating right now.
Yep, that's why he's commentating, and that's why they brought in Mike McCarthy to sort of hopefully rebuild up that standard again and get back into the playoffs and actually win a playoff game this time around.
Yeah, because nothing says winning a playoff game like Mike McCarthy.
We'll see what happens.
As we get ready for practice here in just a little bit, what are your expectations for Southern? What do you think the chances of them adding another state championship to the banner are going to be?
They're pretty high. It's going to be championship or bust. It's a team that's constantly fighting to be in the state championship game. They're the best team in the eastern half of the bracket every year. So when you have that type of culture and you have those type of standards, it's state championship or bust every year.
All right, we're going to go ahead. We'll take a little break here as we get ready for Southern Columbia to get out onto the field. But before Coach Roth and some of the Tigers join us as well, there's a lot more going on. It's football.
Yes, it is.
We're on a football field. It
feels great.
When I get home, I'm going to be taking little rubber pebbles out of my shoes for weeks. You know, the grown-up tires that all these fields are made out of. I miss it. I really do. So I almost put my cleats on today for today's shoot, with the Jordan cleats on. But no, we're before we get to Southern Columbia as well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to Penn State out on the football field as well today on the gridiron, practicing as they get ready for their September 5th matchup with Marshall and the beginning of the Matt Campbell era. Not to mention we have green and gray and black and gold as the Steelers and Eagles both have a preseason matchup at the end of this week on Saturday coming up. So, God, it's here.
It is officially here.
Is summer over?
I think we're getting close.
Okay. But, I mean, it's August, 10th, and we're saying summer's over? When school start?
Depends on if you're before or after Labor Day.
I went out yesterday to Target, and, school shopping was in full. I could see people. It was the least enjoyable Target experience I've had in a long, long time. So, all right, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. We're here on Facebook Live. We're here on YouTube Live. We're on the 2822 Now app. Make sure you've downloaded it. Apple, Amazon, or Roku. We'll be back in just one moment here on 2822 Sports Night. Hey, we're back here on 2822 Sports Night. We are at Southern Columbia at Tiger Stadium as we get ready the first day of high school football starting up August 10th here. We're, 19 days away from kickoff? Yeah, the 29th, 19 days.
18.
Yeah, depending on, well, and of course, depending on when you're watching this as well. But
yes.
Where did 2026 go?
It flew by.
Yeah.
Flew by. We had basketball in the winter months, baseball, softball, had a few state champions here as well, including Southern Columbia baseball. And now you're on the football field with the defending state champion Southern Columbia Tigers here in 2A.
I mean, it's going to be Christmas before you know it. It'll be New Year. Seriously, though, weren't we just, talking about the summer of soccer? What happened to it? It's gone. Football's gone. We're in football season.
Yeah, we're officially here. The summer of soccer sort of, I guess, dampened a little bit when the U.S. Unfortunately lost that big World Cup game.
Got smoked,
yes, to Belgium. But, it flew by. And, again, it feels like just yesterday we were trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get through this month, these couple weeks. And we had some baseball. We had some Little League baseball that helped us carry us through the month. The Rail Riders, Brandon Beck's success as well.
Yeah, I mean, another 20 strikeouts for him last week in 2 starts against the Red Wings. And, I mean, Williamsport's next week. We're going to be in Williamsport next week. Yep. Make sure you're tuning in because we'll be doing the podcast live from Williamsport on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday we got the welcome picnic and parade, first day of competition on Wednesday. We'll be out there. I'll be out there on the Sunday for the MLB Classic, the Little League Classic, even though it's the Braves. So
first place Braves.
Yeah, first place Braves, first place Brewers, all playing with dudes that the Mets cast aside. So lovely. Can't wait to go see that. I'm very, very excited, and I'm definitely sliding down the hill if possible in Williamsport. I feel
cardboard ready?
I mean, I'll get some cardboard. I know it's cheesy and cliche, but I feel like if I don't do it, then I'm not living up to the hype that is covering Little League baseball.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're there, especially your first time, I feel, even if you look like a little kid doing it, it is what it is. Hopefully you don't flip over and, skin an elbow or anything. But
I don't think my hairline looks like a little kid. It hasn't in some time. So, but speaking of not little kids, but big kids who are now getting paid to play, but big kids, the amateurs. Let's head to Happy Valley for a little bit, talk about State College as we get ready for their September 5th matchup, the first of the Matt Campbell era versus Marshall. I know you have lots to say about your future alma mater and current reason why you're $100,000 or so in debt, but
Not that bad.
oh yeah, that's right. You're an in-state student. That's right. So the joys. I went to a private out-of-state school and will be paying for it for the rest of my life. But Matt Campbell era, we had a media day last week. Got a chance to see some of the practice. What are your thoughts so far? And especially being ranked 17th in the country, what are the expectations?
I mean, the expectations are kind of what we've been talking about all offseason long. 9-3 feels like the floor or where Penn State fans want it to be. Ideally 10-2 with a potential whiteout win over what is probably going to be USC, but they haven't officially announced it yet, so who knows?
Are you breaking news?
No, I cannot be claiming to breaking news, unfortunately. That's what my friends are for. But, yeah, it feels like the same expectations we've had. Campbell said all the right things. It's looking like a building year with some interesting pieces that can help make this season interesting. Rocco Becht coming in at quarterback should give them a higher floor than last season did. We'll say that much. On defense, Mark.
I was going to say there was high expectations last year at Iowa State for Beck and Campbell. So, I mean, he is a big-name quarterback. That is a big grab in the transfer portal that they had this year.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be interesting to see how those guys can adapt and adjust to a Big Ten schedule, but there's enough key pieces coming back, guys like Anthony Donk on the offensive line, Tony Rojas on defense. I'm very excited to see the secondary with Darius Dixon at corner, Marcus Neal coming over and playing safety from Iowa State, so a lot of exciting new pieces that I'm excited to see how they gel in this lighter non-conference slate. No offense to Temple, Ricky, but lighter non-conference slate should give them some time to figure it out. And then, games against Wisconsin Northwestern can get their feet under them before USC comes to town, and then they have to go to the Big House in Ann Arbor.
Is there going to be a little gamble, a little wager?
No, they should win.
I mean, you can take the spread. We'll get you the points.
They should have won in 2015.
They should have won in 2015 when they went there too.
They should have.
He's getting real confident in his last week, huh?
Well, again, I'm confident in this Temple team that they can improve. Casey Keeler did a good job last year, and hopefully looking at a bowl game and a victory this year with Casey Keeler at the helm. But, yes, for Penn State, I mean, they got a really good bargain on the schedule. No Ohio State.
You mean they have an Indiana-type Big Ten schedule?
Oh, well, Indiana wouldn't. Don't compare those two. Don't compare those two. They have a really friendly schedule, Penn State, and they should, as Nate said, they should be 9-3, 10-2. But I'm interested to see this offense. For years, it seems like people have been complaining about this Penn State offense, how they're outdated, how they don't run the ball primarily. I want to see this offense that Iowa State's is bringing along with him, with Matt Campbell. I want to see that coming from the Big 12, because Penn State has really been an archaic offense. It seems like they've been an era behind each time with Ohio State and Oregon and some of the other teams in the Big 10. Let's see this Penn State offense with Rocco Becht at the helm and see if they could get people excited about this Penn State offense going forward.
Speaking of excitement, I think you probably could hear it in the background as we're getting very, very close to practice. The helmets are on here in Southern Columbia. We got some warming up going on. I mean, some calisthenics going. Although, as they famously said in Cleveland, they didn't stretch before they got on the beach at Normandy. So I don't understand all this stretching. Oh, don't forget, you got to watch Hard Knocks this week. We got a Hard Knocks report on Wednesday. Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
Seattle.
I watched it after the fact. They're not that interesting of a ball club.
Well, that's why I said Mike McDonald, I think, said in there, he's typically he's not like a Mike Tomlin. He's not this guy that's going to get rah-rah in front of the camp. Mike McDonald, to me, is a pretty laid-back guy.
Even that, there was no great storylines. There was nothing that I was like, once they got their rings and Sam Darnold dropped it on the ground, it was like, all right, why? Like, okay, cool. Like, football's back, but not really. I mean, there was a lot more. I think a lot of other teams that could have been highlighted in this whole, we wanted the Super Bowl champion. the last time that was interesting was the Ravens. So it's all right. You can check it. You're producing on the field. You're producing on the fly. Don't be. What are we doing here?
We're trusting the process.
He got it right. He's learned. My boy has learned. So I don't know if our weathermen have learned,
Hopefully
though.
not.
I'm a little bit nervous. Josh said we didn't need to bring the umbrellas, but
We have 2 in the car just in case.
Right.
next time you need the mic, just elbow me in the side. I'll make sure you get it, okay? All right. Well, as you can hear the clapping and the breaking down, Southern Columbia getting ready to hit the field for practice. We're going to go ahead and hit a break here, and when we get back, we'll be joined by Southern Columbia head coach Jim Roth ahead of today's start to the 2026 PIAA high school football season. Don't go anywhere. 28-22 Sports Night. Back after the break. Hey, welcome back to 28-22 Sports Night, and we are joined as we're live here out on the road by head coach, Coach Roth, as we're getting ready, first day of practice. How's it feel to get back out here? I know you guys were out here this morning, practice number 2 here this afternoon.
Hey, it's great to get started. The weather's been a bit of a headache for us. We had some rain during part of the first workout, and it looks like we may get some more this afternoon, but you just deal with it. It's just it's exciting to be out again and get started, and it's another season after going through many previous ones. Everyone's a little bit different, and we're just excited about the opportunities this year and the amount of players that we have returning and the schedule that lies in front of us.
Every time I hear the thunder, I think it's just the big guys down on the sled. I don't think it's the weather here. So as you guys get ready, big challenge, week 1. What is it? Why is it important to get that test out of the way to kind of see where you guys stand up across the rest of the Keystone State here?
Well, as I've said, I think having an opener like Wyomissing is a positive in that it really it gives you a little more motivation in the off season when you know you're playing, a quality team like that in week 1, and I think it helps your focus and your team's just their approach in the off season and certainly now in preseason camp when we know it's only a few weeks away, and it's a team that we have not had a lot of success against. So I think our players are really motivated to have a great start this year and be ready for that week 1 game against a strong Wyomissing team.
Got it. And obviously, again, the heartbeat of this team is running the football. You lose Braden Andrews in the offseason. You have another great back in Grady Garcia coming into his junior year. What's the running back room looking like this year as you look to, pound the football yet again?
Well, we have Grady returning, as you mentioned. The last in a line of Garcia backs that played for us over the years, and they were all outstanding. Grady is a junior, so he has another year after this year, but he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year and had probably the best game of his career in the state championship against Farrell. So he's coming off of some of his best football at the end of last season, and we expect him to build on that and have a tremendous year for us. And then Joey Williams returns at the fullback position, and Joey went over 950 yards, almost reached 1,000 yards last year. And so we're expecting big things from him. And then we run a 3-back system. The other one right now, we're rotating 2 players, senior Gavin Brown and sophomore Kane Checo. And between those 2, they'll round out our backfield with our 3-back set. And they could very well end up rotating. But regardless, there's a lot of experience there coming back. And our quarterback returning is also a plus in all ways, but also within the running game because he rushed for almost 400 yards last year. So we get him incorporated in the running game quite a bit now, and it gives us a lot of balance with our rushing attack. So we're expecting Aiden to have a strong year running the ball along with throwing at the quarterback position.
Coach, when you have that much experience in the backfield and you have that much talent coming back, how much easier does it make your job as you guys get ready here out on the first couple of weeks to not really have a day 1 feel, but kind of, hey, let's just get back to work and pick up right where we left off?
Yeah, it's always easier when you have experienced people coming back. I mean, we have 9 returning starters on offense for the most part. So when you have that kind of experience, we just had a team meeting here before this practice, and I talked about maybe doing a few more things, a few more wrinkles offensively. We're never going to get real fancy. We don't believe in that. But, with the experience we have offensively, there's no reason that we can't, do a few more things that might make it more difficult for defenses and keep them off balance a little bit. But it's just a good situation and a good feel when you come into a season with that much experience. Defensive side of the ball is a little bit different, but offensively, just a ton of experience and returning players that have played at a high level, at the varsity level in the past. So it makes things a lot easier, especially in preseason camp like this. It's not like you're trying to get people up to playing speed. They've been there and they've done it.
Okay. And Coach, you've been here, I think, almost 30 years now? Is that what?
No, it's actually, this is my 43rd
40, okay.
as a head coach and 47th overall. So
Well, you look so young. He was
Yes.
trying to give you a little compliment there.
But again,
it's been a long
yes.
time regardless.
You've had 15 state titles, 23 state title appearances. Can you describe, I guess, the culture and what you, obviously, again, I'm not sure if you plan to be here 43 years, but just the culture that has been established here and the standard that just continues to be raised year after year with the success of this program?
Well, with the longevity of the success and the level of success, that has a lot to do with it because, the current team will feed off that tradition, and that tradition has gone a long way in motivating one class after another. And it's a bigger concern for us to make sure that a particular team like this year's team doesn't get a little bit complacent because they won a title last year and they won a championship. But I think the one thing that helps us is the overall success of the program just is a huge motivator because, their families, friends, the community, everybody involved around Southern Columbia football, there's such tradition that they want to try to uphold that level of play and that level of tradition. And so that I think has been a big part of our continuing success. And as far as the culture and what we do, we do things that, we have found to be effective. And it starts with what you would, probably find in any successful program, that there's a strong work ethic and discipline and respect within the program. And one of the other things we try to make sure that, we keep our systems relatively simple to the extent that we can get our players to play real fast because, they're comfortable with what they're doing. So we don't get real fancy on either side of the ball. And then the other part of it is I've always had a lot of assistants who have given a lot of years to the program. We've always had a lot of experience on our staff. So the one stat I'll throw out there, or the one person I'll throw out there that exemplifies that, is our defensive coordinator, Andy Mills, has been with me since my first year as a head coach. So he's been with me all 43 years. So that in itself, offensive, I basically am the offensive coordinator. He's the defensive coordinator. So we've had the same 2 coordinators for 43 years. So a lot of consistency and continuity, and just the structure of the program has been pretty much the same. We tweak things a little bit over the years, but a lot of it's the same, and we developed a system that's been successful for us, and we just try to keep it going year after year.
Coach, let me just follow up on that real quick here, and I know we're going to get you out of here as you got to get ready for practice. How is this year feel a little bit different than last? As 2024, no state championship, you guys were hunting for one. This year you're being hunted as the defending state championship. Do you notice any differences?
2 years ago we had an off year, so last year's team was motivated by not having a good season, not having a strong season, certainly not up to our standards. And so coming into the season, you had that, in the background and that to use as a motivator. Well, this year we're coming off a state championship, so now you're talking about trying to maintain that high level, not dropping off from where we were last year, and using that momentum, carrying that momentum of winning our last 15 games into this season, And again, the Wyomissing game as an opener really helps us because we've lost the last couple times we played against them, and so that's a huge motivator for us. But yeah, it's a different feel. More success the previous year, much more success the previous year coming into this season than what we had going into last year's season, and coming off of a year where we struggled, at least by our standards. So that's a different feel, and you know what we have to do this year is like we've had to do many years, and that is just make sure that the players stay focused and that we don't develop any kind of complacency within the program, whether it's in the off season or now that we're on the field during the first week of camp. And my assistants have always done a good job of coaching our players like they have something to prove, whether we had an off year the year before and didn't get to a state final, or we won 3 or 4 or 5 state finals in a row. They've done a great job of coaching our guys and making them realize you got to prove yourselves all over again. Last year's in the past, and it doesn't say anything for this year's team, and especially the seniors that are leaders right now. How do they want to go out and how do they want to be remembered? So, and you get into a situation like this where you're coming off a state championship season, you know, you kind of lean on them and expect them to kind of show the way and lead by example of how you have to approach things to make sure that you maintain that high level.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll let you get out of here as it looks like practice is getting a little bit delayed here with some weather. But we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here all afternoon. And this evening at 2822 Sports Night continues right here on the 2822 Now app. Coach, we appreciate you giving us a few moments. Thank you so much. You guys don't go anywhere, though. We'll be right back here after this break. Hey, welcome back into 2822 Sports Night here as we had to make a little bit of a adjustment in our location as the rains came down here in the midst of practice for a little bit. Nate joining us here as Ricky is working hard at the moment. One of these days we got to do a behind the scenes to let understand like how hard it is to get everything done that we need to get done. Yeah, come on in, Ricky. Apparently Ricky's done getting some work done. Ricky, we were just talking about all the efforts that it takes to get here, why don't we move on over, let Ricky in here a little bit. All the efforts it takes to get this work done. So here, I'll adjust the camera here on the fly.
But yeah, the problem for us trying to do a behind the scenes would be that we're all so busy doing the behind the scenes work that we really don't have anybody that's available to record everything that goes into this. But
you're an intern.
Well,
not from
can't touch. Oh.
Yeah, you can't touch anything. The intern can't touch anything. So, but no, we're here as we are in our 4th segment on the road today, trying to get everything in here for us. But it's been a great time. It's been fun. Coach Roth has been nothing but a great host as well. The junior high guys going a little bit behind us here as the next generation of Tigers are getting ready. Now, you guys have looked a little bit at the schedule. Who are you looking forward to, other than Southern Columbia this year, Ricky? Who are you looking forward to getting out there and seeing?
In terms of their schedule?
No, just in terms of, who are you looking as we get ready for football season this year? Who are you excited to see?
I'm interested to see this Lackawanna Trail team in single A. I love Steve Jervis. Steve Jervis is one of my favorite coaches in the area. They lost a QB and a running back, and for most teams, that's typically a death sentence around here. But for Lackawanna Trail, they just churn out these outstanding running backs. They return a lot of people up front, but again, they have a big test, I think, week 3 against Lakeland, and I'm excited for that game personally just because I'm a Lakeland. Yes. But I want to see how Lackawanna Trail looks. I think that's their first real test on the schedule, and I want to see, how they bounce back from losing Isaac Ryan, one of the best running backs in the area, and also Tyler Jervis, Steve's son, who was the QB last year.
Who are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Well, for me, I'm going to go with the team that Connor Core and I are going to go see tomorrow in North Pocono. They went undefeated up until the state quarterfinals when they lost to the District 12 champs Cardinal O'Hara. They bring back two of the best players in the district in Chase Zimmerman, the quarterback and defensive back, and then wide receiver Cole West, Division I wide receiver as well. So excited to see how the Trojans bounce back from losing some pieces along the offensive line, but really good returning group in a Division I that they will be the favorites to repeat in. So I'm excited to see some North Pocono football.
Yeah, speaking of Division One, I'm myself looking forward to checking out some of the action that's going on in the SCFCA, especially with a wide receiver headed to West Virginia, and all of the hype that's going around Blue
Boys
Mountain.
up in Blue Mountain ever since you went to that football challenge.
I mean, those boys are big. Blue Mountain has got some big linemen, and as a former offensive lineman myself, I know I don't look it, well, maybe I do a little bit now, but as a former offensive lineman myself, I am looking forward to seeing what Blue Mountain can do, because they were the talk of the SCFCA. Everyone who said, as I'm getting there and I'm meeting new faces and learning everyone, they're like, make sure you get in touch with Blue Mountain, make sure you guys go talk to Blue Mountain. They're going to be the people to be looking out for. So it's going to be an awesome season. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting back out on the high school football field. I was quite giddy yesterday as I can believe that we are ready for another season here. So, but it's not just high school football. I mean, Pennsylvania football, we got Bucknell getting ready for their first season under a new head coach, and Jeff Brahman. We got Penn State getting ready for their first season under a new head coach, Matt Campbell. We got Pittsburgh getting ready for their first season under a new head coach as well with Mike McCarthy. And then, of course, Nick Sirianni and the Eagles trying to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, and that's win 3 straight NFC East titles. So there is a lot to look forward to this football season for sure.
Yeah, and again, this is just the beginning. This is just the first day of mandatory practice, and there's still a lot of camps that we have to get to. I'm excited to see, again, going to some of these camps as we get closer to game day. Obviously, again, with the rain here today, Southern Columbia did have to move inside in a gym, but...
Yeah, it didn't feel the same. It was a little bit...
Yeah, but again, Southern Columbia, as Jim Roth was talking to us earlier, they don't throw the ball much. They are a very run-heavy team. They have a QB in Aiden Hockenbrock coming back. But as we get closer to game day, I'm sure the action will ramp up. I'm sure the drills they're doing will be more game-specific and not just, getting the players ramped up. But, yes, this is just the beginning. And, for Pennsylvania here, it's a very football-laden state.
You got a chance to hang out with some of the offensive linemen today. What was that like?
It was definitely interesting getting to watch them run through their drills, and it's definitely going to be a work in progress. There was a lot of fun they had with the sled today, so it's going to take some time to get their feet wet, get back into the swing of things, and we've talked about how there's some questions about what this offensive and defensive line is going to look like for Southern Columbia specifically, but when you have a head coach that's been here for 49 years and the greatest football dynasty in Pennsylvania, which is saying something when it's the home of 2 major metropolitan cities, not to mention 2 NFL teams and also one of the greatest college football programs of all time. To have the greatest football dynasty built up, I think that Southern Columbia is going to be just fine, and Coach Roth's going to figure it out.
You were working on that line in the car. It was a good job delivering it. That was a solid line.
Yes.
You did a great job, buddy.
Not in the car. Not in the car. That one was when we were waiting over there doing the first couple of segments.
I'll tell you what, I appreciate everything you've done for us this summer because, sometimes I'll just be walking in the office and you'll be calling imaginary baseball games, and it sounds better than the Phillies guy who won the auction just a couple of days ago. That wasn't real, by the way. It can't be real.
He was good.
He was real good.
He had a voice for it.
Yeah, that's what he had, the old-timey radio voice. That's what threw me off.
Yes.
Yes. So, but we got what? One more segment here. We got to wrap up.
Yes,
we do. We'll hit some green and gray. We'll hit some black and gold and head to the league. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
with
So,
me.
guys, don't go anywhere. We are almost finished here as we are on the road and getting you ready for high school football kickoff in about 18 days from right now, the 28th of August here, a Friday, 3 Fridays away. So we're just 2 Fridays left without any high school. So, yeah, I'm sure the kids don't love that, though. They were out yesterday school shopping. They were not happy about it. I could hear some kids yelling at moms and moms yelling back at kids. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. 28-22 Sports Night. Hey, welcome back, 28-22 Sports Night, wrapping up your Monday here as we are out on location in Southern Columbia High School. We're at Tiger Stadium, the home of the 15-time state champs and another, 7 appearances in state title games.
Yes,
They've won 7 of the last 8. They've taken everything basically since COVID. So they are going for title number 16 this year in the 49th year underneath Jim Roth as either a head coach, assistant coach, or part of this program. But I know a team that is starting a new era after 17 years of being relevant, 17 years of winning division, 17 years of heading to the playoffs. And apparently none of that matters to Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
No, it's not that it doesn't matter. As I've said, they get there. They get to the playoffs. There's just no winning after that happens in almost a decade.
Are you expecting this year to change that?
From what I've seen, things have been different, very noticeably different. Mike Tomlin runs a very physical practice. Mike McCarthy, not so much. I think that's been one of the bigger differences in all of this. But from what I've seen, defense looks really good. Patrick Graham bringing a new touch of modernization to that group and looks like a better defensive coordinator right now than Terrell Austin did. As for the offensive side of the ball, I don't see how they're going to be worse. Number one, they're playing the AFC South and the NFC South. Those are two arguably of the worst divisions in football. They get Michael Pittman. They draft Jeremy Bernard. Their offensive line is projected to be probably a top 10 unit. I just don't see how they're going to be any worse. So I think they get to the playoffs, and I think offensively, I have to see how the offense looks in the regular season, but defensively, they look better, but offensively, I think, is what's going to determine, did they take enough steps to actually win a playoff game?
Are you worried, though, that I understand what steps they took, but I think the steps that Cincinnati took may have been more than the steps that they took. I mean, adding Dexter Lawrence, shoring up that defense, hopefully having a healthy Carson Palmer, hopefully having a healthy Joe Burrow. Do you think that they've done enough to maintain that division, or do you think that the Ravens and the Bengals will have a shot at getting them? And notice I didn't say the Browns.
Yes, I think Cincinnati is going to be very improved. Obviously, offense isn't the issue with Joe Burrow returning, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, arguably, again, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be improved. Dexter Lawrence up front. Their first-round pick from last year, Shamar Turner, did have an injury. I think he's done for the year.
Yeah, and Falcons just lost a big contributor as well,
yes,
done for the year.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first week of preseason football where the ACLs are just preliminary. Speaking of, 20 injuries already at San Francisco 49ers.
I saw they were piling up.
They're cursed. Are they cursed?
Yeah, they have the substation curse.
Way to elaborate on that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, the curse of the substation. Everybody knows about this. It kills their ACLs.
I'm gonna keep coming back to you until you keep going.
What exactly?
Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, no. 20 of 90 players, though, already injured or listed, including a head coach. I mean, at some point, this does have to be. What is more dangerous, playing and practicing in San Francisco or being on the MetLife turf as a Jet or a Giant?
I still think no, I'd probably say San Francisco right now. Just for some reason, it's like some of them aren't season ending. Some of them are just nagging.
Yeah,
they just nag throughout the season. But yeah, it's we'll see what happens. But they're already very injured, and when they brought in Mike Evans, who is also very injury prone, his play style also doesn't help that either. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if this team can get healthy in a really, really tough division that they're going to have not much room for error.
Who do you think, Nate, as we look over to the NFC side, is there someone that can stop the Eagles? Who's the team that's going to get in the Eagles' way here in the NFC East?
I think it's going to be the Cowboys. They had one of the best offenses in football last year, returning most of that core group. George Pickens is coming back off the franchise tag. They're still working on an extension. And defensively, they made some great additions at safety, notably Caleb Downs. So they're hoping that Dallas is at least hoping that they can shore up that defense enough to be back in the playoff race. Once again, I think they're going to present the biggest challenge. I don't think the Giants are there yet. I'm not convinced Washington is all that great of a team, and Laramie Tunsil getting hurt certainly doesn't help. So I'll say the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Tunsil going down with the tricep, that's big. That's really, really big. And speaking of offensive linemen that are going down, apparently this is going to be the last time that Lane Johnson is going to be making a trip. How big of an impact do you think it is, being that Lane is going to be done for, or no, not done for? I mean, Lane's saying that this is likely it this year.
Well, I'm sure the Eagles have planned for this. They drafted Markel Bell, who, again, I think primarily in college did play left tackle, so that should be of note there. But yeah, I think it's certainly going to affect the Eagles. Maybe not this year, but again, down the road, tackle is going to become an immediate priority for them in the coming free agency, in the draft as well. So we'll ultimately, again, see what happens there. But the line in general, I think, is getting up there. If not up there, they have had some injury-prone players in years past. So obviously, again, I think this is probably the biggest loss for them next year. But this year, again, this is a team that's all in. This is a team that wants to win another Super Bowl. But Lane Johnson, obviously a first-round pick, a captain, probably a future Hall of Famer. But yeah, big loss to the Eagles there. But I don't think it's a necessarily huge surprise given the past couple of years in terms of injury.
All right, let's have some fun real quick before we get out of here, as we are getting ready to wrap up 28-22 Sports on the Road, and we're going to be doing this a bunch more as we get ready for Little League as well, and the first night of high school football. We'll be back here, I'm sure, as you have the state champions going up against WYOU missing. I'm sure I will get that name wrong a million times now. But, all right, real quick. I know we already did our way too early Super Bowl picks, our way too early national champion picks. Let's do our way too early MVP picks. It popped to mind when you said Caleb Downs today. So, based upon, who'd you say your Super Bowl was again?
I think I had Rams. Did I have Rams and Broncos?
Yeah, Rams and Broncos, yeah.
Yes.
And you had?
I had the Rams and Broncos as well.
Oh,
Yes.
so both of you
Yes.
was Rams and Broncos. Well, I had the Bengals winning the Super Bowl this year over the Chicago Bears and Caleb Wilson, Joe Burrow. That being said, I'm going to go ahead. I got Joe Burrow as my MVP. I think he comes back, wins your comeback player of the year, wins your MVP, and also wins your Super Bowl MVP. He gets the trifecta.
I'll be bold. I'll say Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett wins MVP on a Rams team that is going to be one of the best in football. He's going to be a game wrecker on defense. I'll be bold.
Do you think Aaron Donald's actually coming back?
It's looking more and more likely by the day.
I think Sean McVay said the arrow's trending up or something like that.
Yeah, which is
A
terrifying.
couple days ago.
What exactly does holding a 5-gallon jug of water and with one hand and have you guys not seen that?
Probably hand stability.
Aaron Donald
Grip
literally
strength.
picked up one of those big giant 5-gallon water jugs, one-handed, turned it around, and just held it there while all the water. It's just, dude is a freak. Dude's a freak. So, all right, and Ricky, who you got?
I'm going to go with the guy in the Bears, Caleb Williams. I think another year in Ben Johnson's system is only going to elevate him. I know they lost DJ Moore, but really high on Roma Dunze. Hopefully Luther Burden is able to get healthy. Colston Loveland, he's got an accessory of weapons in Ben Johnson's offense. We saw what Jared Goff could do under Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams, I think, a more talented QB, and I think he could be a person that pushes for MVP and is my MVP prediction as well. Really
going out on the limb and saying Caleb Wilson has more talent than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
No, Goff was a first-round pick. Dude's super talented. Yeah, absolutely. And he has looked great for Detroit ever since that trade. That's one of those rare trades that both teams won.
I mean, one team got a Super Bowl out of it. If the Lions win a Super Bowl with Goff, yes, but one team got a Super Bowl out of it. One of them didn't.
I think it's an upgrade over what Detroit Lions fans were getting.
That's true.
I mean, Jared Goff has more playoff wins for the Detroit Lions than Matthew Stafford does.
That's not Matthew Stafford's fault.
I don't think anyone would put that
I mean,
on.
Stafford did play with Megatron and couldn't even get a win.
Megatron retired early.
Yeah, I know. The Detroit Lions, the team that's gotten both Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders to retire early. But all right, that's going to wrap us up here as we are in Southern Columbia, the 15-time, I'm going to pre-head of myself here, 16-time, the 15-time state champions. So gracious to host us today. Make sure you check out all of our coverage here from Tiger Stadium, and make sure you tune back in tomorrow as we will continue getting you ready for the first day of football. Just 18 days away. By tomorrow will be 17 days. And the way that this year has flown by, before you know it, we're going to be in State College for a state championship game.
They don't play there.
You really are just loving these last couple of days, huh? Where they play.
They play in Cumberland Valley down in
I was going to say.
Mechanicsburg.
Why would they do something like that?
Because
where they play.
Because it's not as expensive as renting out stadiums from Penn State and Hershey Park.
Well, he's got all the answers, folks. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. For Nate Johns, Ricky Turner, I'm Zach Grady. This has been 28-22 Sports Night.